Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how adding an expand and collapsible functionality to gallery in PowerApps can improve the user experience. Think about it of a scenario wherein you have master data and child data in two separate tables. Generally, when we create this kind of application, what we do is we create a gallery screen where we are going to show the master data from the master table. In this case, consider project is our master data where we have project name, description, and to whom it is assigned. And in child, we have task related to this project. What we will do is we will more or less create a master gallery screen wherein we will display the project information, and then we will give a button. On click of that button, what we will do is we can show task related to that project in a separate screen, right? But what if you wanted to kind of create an user experience where you wanted to show projects and the task in the single screen, but as and when needed? So in this case, if you see, we have project information which we are showing, and along with that project, we are also showing the task information are related to that particular project. So user can click on different project at a glance, and then can use the expand and collapsible functionality to see the task related to that project. Now, why does this matter, right? Consider that when we are building an app, one of the biggest challenge in Power Apps is keeping the screen clean and very easy to use. So if we are showing too much of information at once, the app sometimes looks cluttered. Our user also feels overwhelmed. By creating a gallery to expand and only when needed, we are making the layout cleaner and less distracting. Also, this is going to give the user a control over what they wanted to see. They can focus only on the section that matters to them and collapse the rest. That means less scrolling, faster navigation, and smoother user experience. Another benefit that we can give is that app is going to have the modern and the professional look. And this kind of expand and collapsible pattern of the UI are very common in website and mobile apps. And when user can see the same behavior in the Power Apps, the app will basically look familiar and very intuitive also. Also, in this video, I'm going to give you a very high level approach or pattern around how we can create this kind of expand and collapsible galleries in Power Apps. With that, let's go and see how we can build this. So here I have the app open in the edit mode. Let us only focus on this expand and collapsible gallery screen. So if you expand this, we are going to see some of the containers. Container is very nice to use in when we are developing it within the Power Apps. First is we have a screen container, then we have a header container which is going to display this. This is not relevant to this use case, but just showing it from the screen perspective that we can have a header container, main container which is going to show you the data, and then the footer container which is going to show the footer container data. Now, if we expand the main container, we have a sub container. Within that sub container, what we have is we have a parent header container, which is basically to display the parent header information. It means the column related to that particular parent master data. Then we have the parent gallery. Now, one of the important thing is when we are using the parent gallery, the flexible height should be on because we need the gallery to be flexible height. Depending on the content, it is going to expand and collapse. Within parent gallery, we have the parent record, which is basically the actual record on which we are going to display the parent information. So this is typically how you create a gallery. I'm not going to go into detail because that is not the purpose of the video. One thing to understand here is that when you are going to create the record container for the parent information, the size and the width of that would be of the parent. Okay, why it needs to be of the parent? Because to make it dynamically. So if you see here, the width what we have set for the container of the parent record is of the parent template width, and same way height also we are keeping it of the parent template width, template height. Now let's talk about the child container. Of course, you are not going to see it in the edit mode because the child container is different, but this is where the main container of the child gallery is. So we have a parent gallery and then we have a child gallery. Within the child gallery, you see here for the child gallery also we have a header wherein we are going to add some labels. Labels are basically the labels related to project name, task description, and status, right? And also here in the parent container header also, if you see, there is a button which is basically an expandable collapsible button. Why? Because on click of that button we wanted to show and hide the child gallery and its information. So we will talk about that little bit later, but here we have the button canvas for the project name, and then we have the label for the description, and then we have label for assign to. Okay, now coming back to the child record main container, if you see here we have a child gallery, and within the child gallery what we have is we have container for the child records, and within the child records we have all the labels which are actually going to display the information. So there is a typical gallery which you create, no matter if you are creating an expandable gallery, collapsible gallery, but if you are going to create the gallery, what we do is we put this kind of labels information inside the gallery which are going to display the data. So in this case, if you see here, we are showing that. Okay, first thing is let's go and check the items which we are going to filter on the child gallery, right? So at the parent gallery, what we need to do is consider that we have a project task list, which is basically the child list. What we want to do is we wanted to filter and only display the task related to the particular project which is selected. In this case, what we are doing is we are filtering it on the project task list based on the project name value within a variable called where project. Now, where do and how are we setting this variable where project? That would be on select of the button, because that is when we are going to expand it. So if you click on the button canvas 4, what do you see is on select we are setting, if the project title is same as title, then we are setting it to 0. 0 means no project is been selected. If not, then we are setting the where project to the title. It means the project has been selected, and we are setting that variable where project, and based on that we are actually filtering and only displaying the data of the selected project within the child gallery. Now also let us understand how the dynamics of the height does work and how the visibility works. Okay, that is important to understand. So if you go to our child record main container, which is this one, and if you go to the height, width is going to be same because we are going to fix the width with some padding, but height is what is important. In here, if you see, there is a formula which is written, which is important to understand, wherein what we are doing it is, because we know the child record would have a particular height, we are going to use the child gallery and its item to find the total count, which would be 1, 2, 3, and we are using it to multiply it with the total height of the child gallery template, and also then adding the count row and the template padding, so that whatever padding we wanted to be displayed, that could be considered. And then we are also going to consider the height of the header, which is project name, description, and everything, and based on that we can basically show and put the height of that particular this thing. Into 2 is to make sure that the spacing and everything is correct, so that we don't get the scroll bar here. If we don't do into 2, what it will do is it is going to display the child records here, but it is going to show the scroll bar because it would be a fixed height, because the height of the child gallery is also flexible height. If you see here, the child gallery, the height is flexible, and because of that reason what it will do is it is going to dynamically expand the height as and when needed based on the calculation which is provided. So I'm going to come here and also pause here to see, like, this is the logic which is actually making the height of the child gallery dynamic depending on number of items of the rows and everything, which is important to understand. So this is the main part or the magical part, how the dynamic height is going to work for the child gallery. Okay, another important thing to understand here is how we are controlling the visibility, right? So same case, if you come to child records main container which we have, and if we go to the visibility, this is where we are controlling the visibility based on the variable which you have taken, which is where project. So it means what we are saying is that if the current item title is same as the where project, then only show the container, child records container, and which is indirectly going to show the child gallery. If not, doesn't do that. So this is also important, because based on this, if we are going to collapse everything, child gallery won't be displayed. That is how we can create an expandable and collapsible gallery in PowerApps. And as you can see, the pattern basically relies on simple logic around toggling the visibility, adjusting the container usage, and applying few dynamic height calculation based on the formula which I had shown you. And with this simple tricks, we would be able to kind of create an expandable and collapsible gallery, which is going to be very interactive user experience for the user. And with this, thank you for watching. Hope this video was helpful. See you next time.